And of course, you must then define what you mean by law. If you mean by law there the law of Moses, you're sinning if you keep it. If by law there you mean the commandments of Jesus and the law of Messiah, that famous phrase, the law of Messiah, the law of Christ, then indeed that's the essence of the faith. So one has to define what one means by law. And many people don't do that. They read about keeping the commandments and they think, well, that must be the 10 Commandments. That's not right. The 10 Commandments are the epitome of the old covenant. The Sabbath is the sign of the old, I repeat, the old covenant under Moses. It's not the sign of the new covenant in Jesus. So it all depends on defining the law. And I would recommend people read Galatians chapter 3, verses 19 to 29, where Paul says, well, what then about the law? Let's just talk about that. Talking about the law of Moses. It was given until faith came. Well, faith came, as we were laboring to say just now, when Jesus and John the Baptist began preaching. That's when faith became the new thing, the new norm. So Paul can say in 1 Corinthians 9:20, I will, for the sake of trying to win a Jew, I'll go under the law of Moses with him, if it's going to win him. Although I myself, Paul, a Jew and a Christian, am not, I repeat, not under the law. That's 1 Corinthians 9:20. Most important. So if there's a good reason not to give offense, there are all sorts of compromises possible. For example, Paul circumcised Timothy. Why? Because it was necessary. It was not necessary, because circumcision in the flesh is nothing, Paul said. But he circumcised Timothy because of the Jews. I get it. There is a place not to offend people. They even paid the temple tax where they didn't have to. It was actually right that they didn't keep it or didn't pay it, a tax levied on all 20-year-olds and under. But Jesus said, but lest we offend them, in order not to cause any offense, let's do it anyway. That's what I would call a compromise. And you find that principle applied by Jesus and by Paul.